Stand by for the opening night of the National Television.
I'm Susie from S2D2 Skates. We stock a wide range of products from all the best brands. Did you know that the S2D2 Skates website is up to date with stock levels and will only let you buy something if it's actually in stock? We pride ourselves on having awesome customer service and very quick delivery. Usually items are sent the very same day you place your order.
Today.
58. Yeah, pretty close to that.
Yeah, you don't look a day over 56.
Let's take it back. It's the skin treatments I do.
Right.
The peels.
Are there any skin manufacturers out there? And when I say skin manufacturers, my brain immediately goes to Silence of the Lambs. But what I was thinking was like an Oil of Ulan type thing.
It puts lotion on the skin. Or else it gets a hose again.
Nobody likes the hose.
But we are here for round one, game one, about to get underway. We've got a hell of a matchup to kick it all off in spectacular fashion. Southside Derby Dolls the Force, defending champions, two-time back-to-back. We're here in the Armageddon division, taking on debut team here in 5x5, Sydney Roller Derby League Snipers.
Yes, indeed. And for the Snipers, we have Chew Hacker, Stockard Slamming, Stocks, Sneaky Stackhouse. That's a familiar name, but not under Sydney. Icy Red, Sharkaram, Levi Strides, Goldie Horns, Bitchy and Scratchy, Carnage, Brat Pitt, also new to Sydney, but not new to roller derby, Serious Whack, and Captain Feisty Cuffs.
Lining up across from them. In the purple, we have Southside Derby Dolls of Force, Bacardi Bruiser, Whack Russell Terrier, another familiar name, Freewee Fighter, Underbelly Morelli, Danny Hell, Killer Bee, Sin City, Lethal, Mini Massacre, Fairy Bled, Haterade, Impure Blonde, Apocalypse, and Tequila Shot. Wearing the C today for Southside is Mini Massacre. Jam 1 about to get underway. Skaters are on the track waiting for that whistle to get 2015's campaign started. Both teams hungry to get that gold at the end of the 6-month season, I'm sure.
And of course, both commentators hungry to get to that cupcake stand. Always a feature at the 5x5.
We're known for that. In fact, last year's grand final, we had a bake-off. This year, we're hoping to see a lot of action on the track as well as in the cake stall.
Preferably less action than the grand final. That was tummy stretching. And out in front, Lee Jammer, Southside. What a great way to start the season.
Danny Hell quick off the mark. She's got Lee Jammer. Feisty Cuffs looking for a gap. Round the outside and taken out by Mini Massacre.
Mini Massacre doing a great job recycling Feisty Cuffs to the back of the pack there.
Yeah, Haterade and Mini Massacre, good combination there. Danny Hell already on her scoring pass. Feisty Cuffs now out, not Lee Jammer, of course. Danny Hell with that privilege and taking full advantage, calling it off. Southside getting on the board early, 3 points to 0 in that first.
And Southside is going to, of course, try to stay ahead, not just for the points factor, but also to keep on top of their morale. Sydney, a little bit of a sleeper when it comes to that sort of thing. They will try to merge up from behind, have some big jams.
If you are at all familiar with roller derby in New South Wales, you know the calibre of Sydney Roller Derby League. long time top dog in the region, I guess. Snipers is their B team, but first time here in 5x5. And this is Southside's home for the last 2 years. They are the defending champions. Freewee Fighter, number 187, full of purple, through for a first scoring pass. Keeps on skating, getting the signal, looking for more points. But there's Sneaky Stackhouse getting through for 4 of her own. Jammer really trusting her pack here to hold up the offense from Sydney.
Yes, indeed, that trust paying right off. 4 more points.
2 only in that last pass, so 6-4.
Scoreboard reads 9 points to Southside, 4 points to Sydney. Sydney starting with the triangle of death. Both sides with 1 player in the penalty box.
Apocalypse with the star now for Southside.
Sydney through for lead jammer. Icy Red, the first jammer through to get lead status for Sydney.
Icy Red approaching the pack, calling it off, playing it safe. Not getting the call off that she wanted or as quickly as she wanted. And Southside picking up points against the lead. Strong start here from Southside. 11 plays 4. Danny Hill jamming once again for Southside. Feisty Cuffs, captain of the Snipers with the star for the women in red. and is on the hunt for more. Danny Hill already completed one from start with 5 points, looking for a second here. Strong defense from Sydney, delaying her progress, but only for so long. There's 5 more.
I see Red standing in the penalty box there.
Icy Red back on the track, taking the long route. Wanting a run up as she comes up to pack. There's 5 more points for Danny Hill. 15 so far in the pen. Icy Red still on her initial pass, finding her way through. Swiftly making the most of it. She's now on a scoring. Danny Hill, one more in her perhaps. Assist from the outside.
Oh, yes, indeed. But calls for a track cut instead. She loses her advantage. This jam will go for the full 2 minutes, of which there's only 28 seconds left.
So Icy Red here with a chance to put Sydney on the board. Another track cut force. Strong blocking. Killer Beef with a big assist. Unfortunately getting the track shot on Danny Hill earlier, and then forcing the track shot on Icy Red. Back-to-back plays for Killer Beef. We'll have a tag-in, tag-out situation in the box. Danny Hill.
Will indeed, which will mean that Southside will start with a power jam.
So Sydney getting on the board in that one. 60 plays 9. 10 minutes gone in this first half. And Southside firmly in control so far. Now, one of the situations that did occur with 5x5 here was that Western Sydney were about, or were all set to be in this Armageddon division for when we face It's in the track cut. Too. Loving the work from Lethal out on the track.
And a star pass to Feisty Cuffs.
There's another 5 points for Southside, 10-0 in that one. 95 plays 32. Southside in control and in charge in this first half. As I said earlier, this is a new squad for the Snipers from Sydney. Only a couple of weeks together to really learn how to play with each other. But they're going to figure it out as not only as the season goes on, but I predict as this game goes on, they're going to start finding how to play with each other, finding the gaps and finding the holes in Southside's wall that's been so effective so far.
Yes, indeed, and certainly the halftime talk is going to be a killer with your mum delivering the goods. Rampage in support on the bench.
Sneaky Stackhouse jamming for Sydney. Hits to the outside by Tequila Shot. And Danny Hell claiming lead once again for Sydney. Southside very familiar with Sneaky's play. Obviously have battled many times with Western Sydney in the last year, being part of 5x5 meeting at TGSS. Sneaky now out on a scoring pass, and Danny Hell adding another 4 to the tally there.
Fairyblade taking a slow start for Southside.
Fairyblade jamming for the first time today. One of the captains of the force, not with the seat today. Co-captain Minnie Mousker with that honour, but Fairyblade with the jammer star at the moment.
Goldie Horns very frustrated behind the Southside blockers.
And Lethal just laying out Goldie at the back there. Now through Goldie Horns, on her scoring pass. Fairyblade already picking up another 5 there. 4, sorry.
And she decides to call that jam off, denying Sydney any points for that pass. And viewers at home will notice some players having to cover up the letter part of their numbers, their player numbers.
Do we?
Stockyard Slamming has.
That is, of course,
She's a
one of the
trendsetter.
WFTDA rules that will be applied as of December 2015.
Yes, indeed.
So not in
Feisty
play
Cuff
yet.
skating with the old number KO. Haterade using Underbelly Morelli as a battering ram, but Feisty Cuffs manages to get past again.
So Feisty is lead jammer for Southside. Only 2 blockers left on the track. Whack Russell Terrier with 0-1-0. Underbelly Morelli and Feisty picking up 4 and calling it off.
Terrific footwork. Great use of the clock as well. No need to waste time when you are behind.
Strong jam from Feisty Cuffs and Sydney. Oh, they're going to want to see a couple more of those, and Feisty with a good captain's knock in that one.
Yes, indeed. And Sydney opting for the pivot line start. That will give both jammers the opportunity of sussing things out before they hit the blockers.
Well, only 2 blockers on the track for Southside, so wanting to give Sneaky some room to move at the back. So
Sydney Nasker back on the track.
And Sydney lead jammer once again. Couple in a row now going Sydney's way. Sneaky Stackhouse looking for points. She's in the middle of this pack now. Pack spreads out. Sneaky's out. She picks up 4 and calls it off. But Danny Hill picking up 3 against the lead. So Sneaky Stackhouse getting lead jammer, going 4-3 in that one. Only 1 point differential.
And of course, Southside breaking the 100 barrier.
So the difference that a number of seconds can make, 4-0 to 4-3. Danny Hill didn't need long to chip away at that lead in the jam.
Feisty Cuff back on the jammer line for Sydney. She'll be looking to repeat her success from the last time she jammed.
Feisty Cuffs finding a way around the outside and skipping once again. Lead jammer with Fairy Blade, but Feisty doing a good job defensive jamming, forcing the call off from Fairy, not wanting to risk it.
Indeed, and again, Feisty Cuffs, good use of time there, not wasting any more time on the clock because Sydney are going to need all that they can get.
Feisty Cuffs, of course, this year is the face of the Snipers, making a way onto the bout posters, or the team posters, if you will, for the 5x5 this year. Some spectacular artwork being produced by Cheeser Maniac from Southside this year with the bout posters, and Feisty Cuffs, she's the poster girl. But in this jam, it's Apocalypse jamming for Southside. She's through, but called for a forearms on her way through. A bit of swimming action to get her through. Sneaky Stackhouse now with a chance for lead jammer and a power jam. Southside forced to let it go. Penalties playing a part right now. Impure Blonde and Whack Russell Terror, the only 2 blockers left on the track. Sneaky, 5 points once again for Sydney.
Sneaky through for a 5-point pass. Only 2 blockers on the track for Southside, making it tough work for them. Impure Blonde trying to slow down Sneaky Stackhouse, no avail.
Sneaky picking up 10 and the call off. Your mum wanting the power jam for the next one again. Feisty Cuffs with the chance here to extend their points or chip away at the lead Southside built up early. And you can feel, Mel, as I said, there will be momentum swings in the game. The last few jams definitely going Sydney's way.
Yes, indeed. Apocalypse standing in the penalty box, though. Feisty Cuffs won't have very much of an opportunity to score points, but she will have the chance to get lead jammer against only 2 blockers from Southside. Feisty. She did have to work for it, though, didn't she, Big Tina?
Spinning, and she loves it. Lead jammer, her very unique running skating style.
I think that's the show-off woohoo style.
Another big jam for Feisty Cuffs and Sydney, and she puts her hands on her hips and calls it off. 4 more points to the Snipers. Feisty Cuffs, really in the long time mainstay in Sydney Roller Derby League, but in the last year or so, really evolving her game. Previously purely a blocker, now primarily a jammer, and making that transition from blocker to jammer, and she's taken to it like a duck to water.
Indeed, and her confidence and her fitness both improving significantly. You can certainly see from her physique there that she has been doing some serious workout.
Feisty Cuffs backing up with this jam again. Success in the last, why not repeat it? But Fairy Blade putting a mock on that. She's now lead jammer for Southside.
Feisty still not through on her initial pass. Lots of very persistent blocking haterade in that instance.
So Fairyblade 5 points, making quick work of that South Sydney pack. Feisty Cuff still held up, forced to the inside.
Underbelly Morelli sent to the penalty box for blocking Feisty with her forearm.
Feisty Cuff's now out, going stride for stride with Fairyblade.
Fairyblade acting as the extra blocker there. Feisty keeping up the pressure. She's going to try to force that jam to be called off. Lots of damage done, though, by Southside.
10 points in that jam. 116 plays 54. 4 minutes left in this first. Now, Mel, I don't know if I know you've got a lot of qualifications.
I do.
What is body language? How does that fall, and what are you seeing out there from the postures and the way the skaters are holding themselves right now?
I think that Southside are really hanging out for the after party. They've got their dance moves sorted. They're trying not to extend themselves too much. They've got the advantage of being in this first game so they can rest for the next 3 games. Sydney, however, are all about the business. They're all about trying to catch their breath there. Your mum is telling them, let's try to score more points than the other team, because that is the tactic that will certainly bring them through triumphantly.
A strong strategist. I know he's studied the art of war.
Yes,
big
indeed.
chess player.
Indeed.
And what he brings
The
to the
Tao
table.
Te Ching.
All of that. Machiavellian.
Yes, indeed.
Tupac Shakur.
Mostly he just reads the dictionary, though.
So what he brings is score more points than them. That's the strategy to win this game.
Absolutely. Your mum, certainly a clear communicator. Sydney are going to benefit from that sort of guidance.
But you can definitely see, as far as the body language goes, Sydney really working hard for it today. Southside holding their heads up a little bit higher. Obviously, that comes from when you're in the lead. Usually a little bit more smiles, a little bit happier. But we're seeing that out on the track. Definitely making Sydney work for every point they're getting. And the jammers, when they go to the bench, pulling the helmets off, breathing heavily.
Sneaky Stackhouse trying to sneak past Southside. Lethal and Killer Bee, though, doing the big boob stop. Certainly working for them. Sneaky force at the back of the pack behind Apocalypse.
And laying the table for Danny Hell to claim lead jammer once again. Danny Hell looking good, but it's all off the hard work of her pack.
Sneaky Stackhouse taking the rope with her. Referees, you can see them sweating a little when they see that tape come up and the rope come across. So this will give us enough opportunity, Big Kahuna, to say thank you to Sydney Derby Skates, East Coast Beverages, Spa Cafe, Niagara Park Stadium, Roller Derby Heaven, the 5x5 live streaming crew. We actually do have a live streaming crew.
There is an absolute army of people doing things here today.
Indeed. The Valley Tavern. And, of course, all of the supporters and volunteers that have made this event possible.
Of course, the streaming that is going to be happening is brought to you by Sydney Derby Skates, our sponsors for the live stream today, without which it wouldn't be happening. So timeout is in play. Timeout called by the officials.
The rope and the tape shredded itself. We'll call it for safety to fix them.
So this official timeout is in play. Of course, you can see the refs down there on their hands and knees. It is a maintenance issue. Track was shredded, rope exposed. We can't have skaters getting caught up in all the sticky tape, so we're fixing that up. Our multi-talented ref crew, not only can they blow, whistle and skate at the same time, but they can fix tape.
I quite admire Commando Roll's timeout routine.
His action there, strong.
Nonchalant.
His NSO game is on point.
You can see him flexing his pectoral muscles there. Rocking his new hairdo as well. He's a handsome man, that Commando Roll.
That he is. That he is.
However,
I don't feel awkward.
it is not at all his birthday today, Big Kahuna.
Speaking of handsome men, Mel.
Speaking of handsome men who are having their birthdays,
It is my birthday
on behalf
today.
of all the people involved in 5x5, you have given birth to the 5x5 tournament, and it's nice to celebrate it on your birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It is fun to be a part of something so spectacular and see such strong roller derby on the track. When we first started, the 5 leagues were on a different scale altogether to what we're seeing right now, and Southside Snipers putting on a hell of a game so far. Freeway Fighter with the star for Southside pushing at the front, Icy Red pushing at the back.
Yes, indeed. She's having some trouble getting past those very persistent Southside blockers. Each blocker acting independently, managing to force a track cut on Icy Red. Southside with the power jam.
Icy Red gone to the box a number of times. She's got to be on about 4, I'd say.
If
Power
only I
jam.
had my opera glasses, Big Kahuna, I would be able to tell you for sure.
Yes, I can do a lot of things well. Seeing is not one of them. Sight is not my friend. I can make out, you know, blobs. That's a really
There's
good
definitely
blob
some
skating there.
things written on the whiteboard that would indicate the number of penalties.
One of them shows that Freeway Fighter just picked up another 5 points. Icy Red back on the track when the pack was right there, choosing to go in front in the long way around, potentially losing out on some points, even though she was on her initial.
And of course, the time clock is counting down. Only 1 minute and 38 seconds left in this half.
76 points separating our two teams. 130 plays 54.
However, there is an official review. It looks like Sydney is calling the official review this particular time. This gives us an opportunity, Big Kahuna, to tell you who the officials are today. Our head ref for the tournament is Game Over, and referees doing the work today: Axiom Addict, Boom Tish, Cheeser Maniac, Commando Roll, Cranky Pants, Dan Opticon, Dandemonium, Dead Serious, Deathly Bellows, Dr. Fell, Even Steven, Fisty Muff, Gory Newman, Indestructible, Jim Peckable, Click Click Boom, Chaos Bob, Lunatic, Major Puddles, Marshall Force, Miffy Pajamas, Penny Penny Traitor, Refenatrix,
There's a bit of a pause there.
Right.
Do you say it quicker normally? Or?
Penny Traitor. Strangely enough, I don't say it very often. Refenatrix, Riley Coyote, Ritual Ideas, Short Circuit, Simon Says, Sleaze Irwin, Statisfaction, Switzerland, and Wayne of War. Thank you also to the head NSO of the 5x5 tournament, Cockless Monster. So all of these people have volunteered their time and their expertise, and they are the glue. They hold the 5x5 together.
The Tarzan's grip of roller derby.
There are lots of words coming out of the live streaming crew here. I'm hearing sharing, airport, and internet.
I don't know if are we live?
I don't think we are live. Well, we're alive.
We're not streaming. You're watching this on archive only. So apologies to those people out there that couldn't make it to the house. I know that there's a few Southside people that were desperate to be watching it online. They'll just have to watch it this afternoon. And hopefully we have this sorted by the time the next game rolls around. We will be live soon, I've been told.
Yes, indeed. Major Skateholder making promises that his body may not be able to uphold. Still with the official review.
We're allowed to start a boring chant on the stream?
No, but we can tell you that the third game for today is in the Armageddon division. Newcastle Dockyard Dames playing Wollongong Illawarra Steel City Derby Dolls. And the fourth game in the Battlegrounds, Inner West Skate Crashers versus the winners from last year, the Central Coast Valkyries.
Lethal, straight through for lead, lead, Jammer status, Feisty Cuffs giving chase.
1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this half. 1 minute and 34 seconds
So Lethal in control of this jam. Fisticuffs going right with her. Lethal showing good track awareness, calling it off. Slow call. Did she get any points? No, Fisticuffs not any there against the lead. So only 1-2 Southside. Lethal frantically putting her hands on her hips. Call it off, ref.
And the extra special varnish that they put on this floor here in Niagara Park, causing referees no end of trouble. The level of tack that you have to use to be able to not take up the varnish isn't quite up to the job of holding the rope down.
So Danny Hill jamming for Southside, Fisticuffs jamming for Sydney. Both jammers out at the same time, but lead jammer goes to Sydney. Fisticuffs realizes, puts her head up and calls it off, not wanting to risk any more points going Southside's way in that one. Clock ticking down to half time. We won't get another one.
So that means that the score going into half-time, S2D2 well in front, 131 points, playing SRDL in the red, 54 points.
So a really strong start from Southside in this one. Of course, these two teams have played a number of times in the past, 3 times in fact, and Snipers having the best of Southside every time. They first met in 2012 at Eastern Region when Southside really was in their infancy, only beginning team. At that time, Snipers were actually Sydney's C team. They've both progressed a lot since then. Last year playing twice and less than 30 points separated the two teams every time. So Southside never beating Snipers in the past, looking to take the win in this one and getting off to a good start to ensure that happens.
And we will be back with the game coverage in just a few minutes. In the meantime, there is, of course, some halftime entertainment for you lot at home.
Hi, I'm Susie from Sydney Skates. We stock a wide range of products from all the best brands. Did you know that the Sydney Derby Skates website is up to date with stock levels and will only let you buy something if it's actually in stock? We pride ourselves on having awesome customer service and very quick delivery. Usually items are sent the very same day you place your order.
The second half of action about to get underway. What a first half we've seen here from the 5x5 grand opener for 2015. Southside Derby Dolls defending back-to-back champions of the Armageddon division, taking on new to 5x5, the debutants, Sydney Roller Derby League Snipers. And so far, Southside having the best of it. 131 plays 54. Southside firmly in control so far, looking to continue that in the second. I'm sure the halftime talk from your mum to the Snipers, that's the name of the coach. I'm not talking about your own mothers at home.
No. My mum's not here.
Rest in peace, my mum. I just got dark. Just got really dark on the feed. But your mum is the name of the bench coach for the Snipers. I'm sure he had some very, very inspirational words.
I was actually there, Big Kahuna. He said, try to get past more players than the other side, stop their jammer from getting past your blockers, and score more points.
Complicated gameplay. We said he was a strategist.
We've said a lot of things about your mum.
Over the years, he's been a good name to play with as an announcer. But Fisticuffs pushing hard for Sydney and getting lead, pushes away through. She's lead jammer for Sydney. Danny Hill having some trouble here with a hard Sydney wall, finally getting away through. Fisticuffs now approaching quickly for 4 points, untouched. Again, her signature hop, skip, and a jump. Sydney getting off to the start of the second half well. 4 points via Fisticuffs.
Sneaky Stackhouse back on the jammer line for Sydney in the red. Freeway Fighter back on the jammer line for Southside in the purple.
Sneaky Stackhouse, again, lead jammer for Sydney.
Finding the outside line that time. However, Freeway Fighter hunting her down, putting pressure on her to either trust her blockers or call the jam off. Sneaky tries to do both. No points for that jam though. Great blocking work by Southside.
Sneaky coming hot into that pack, skating backwards. But very lucky to not go square into the back of the opposing skater, but not getting any points for it either. 138 plays 58. Sydney off to a strong start in the second half here.
Feisty Cuffs having another go at jamming for Sydney.
Feisty in high rotation in this game so far. Finding a lot of success too. One of the more successful jammers for Sydney. So why not roll her out there a little bit more?
Indeed, Underbelly Morelli making it her personal business to stop Feisty Cuffs. Slowing her down, pushing her off the track a couple of times, but Feisty is now through.
So Sydney 3 for 3 so far. Lead jammer going their way in this second half. Halftime work, halftime talk definitely seemed to work. They look like they've got a lot more purpose, a little bit more spring in their steps, stronger walls and sticking together.
Snipers, of course, certainly have a long history as a team, even though this particular team hasn't practiced much together. Your mum with lots of experience both on and off the track. Rampage as well, both of them part of the men's roll derby team in Sydney.
Colonel Panic for Southside, also part of Smash in Sydney as well.
It's what all the guys are doing.
So they know each other
they're
well.
waiting for you.
Waiting for me. Yeah, no. I like my ankles intact.
Farsi. People not afraid of having ankles in pieces on the track right now. For Sydney, Stocks is jamming. Danny Hell jamming for Southside. She's lead jammer.
So apparently all difficulties have been fixed. We are streaming live now. So if
you've been persistent in watching this live, we do appreciate your patience and welcome to the forecast.
And the broadcast even.
Or the telecast. There is, of course, the fishing line cast. Lethal jamming for Southside Derby Dolls. Sneaky Stackhouse on the jammer line for Sydney. Lethal managing to find the inside line. She barges her way through as lead jammer. Sneaky Stackhouse having to take the inside line herself. She is through as well. Lethal making her way past all four blockers in Sydney, then calling that jam off. Sneaky denied all opportunities to score any points. Sydney making fast moves to get onto the jammer line in the best position they feel for their jammer. Feisty Cuffs breathing hard there, but she's probably still got a bit of petrol in the engine.
Yeah, being run ragged so far, Feisty Cuffs. But she can do it all game long. That sounded dirty than I meant it. I apologize. But Apocalypse is lead for Southside.
Feisty Cuffs skipping her way through, avoiding track cuts. Apocalypse hitting the back of the blocker pack, trying for an apex jump. Doesn't manage it, calls the jam off from the ground.
Apocalypse jamming against Feisty Cuffs there. I mentioned in the first half, Mel, that Feisty Cuffs have shown a real evolution in her game, her physique. The way she plays roller derby has changed over the years from primarily a blocker or only a blocker to now a primary jammer and in high rotation. Apocalypse for Southside doing the exact same. Only a year ago would have been exclusively blocking, and now is one of Southside's high rotation jammers and doing it successfully here today.
Southside holding a strong wall there. Making a little gap for Danielle to get through, and Danielle is through as lead jammer.
So Chakram jamming for Sydney, being held up behind some strong walls. Finally let go. She's not lead jammer, of course. That status belongs to Danny Hell, looking for points right now and getting 4 of them. Danny Hell getting the signal from bench coach to keep going. Happy to give some points to Sydney if they can get their blockers out of the box. Bacardi Bruiser serving some time, and Danny Hill playing the time game right here. Trusting her pack, trusting her walls. They were able to keep Chakram on her initial for a long time, so why not try to repeat that success and give Danny Hill a couple of more chances at some points.
5 more points on that pass, in fact, for Danny Hill.
So there's 4 more for Chakram, 5 to Danny Hill. So another pass here. We should see the call off because the blockers are out, getting it through. That's game analysis melodrama. That's a really strong strategy there. And really big tips on myself, apparently. I can't believe I said that. But that was really good to see. Like, you can see the thought process ticking over, the calls from the bench, the skater seeing what they're after and executing. Danny Hell really knowing what a coach wanted and bringing it to the forefront. 17-8 in that jam, obviously showing the tactics working because Southside still in control of this game. 155 plays 67.
And a big thank you to Sydney Derby Skates, our sponsor for this this telecast. Thank you also to East Coast Beverages, Spa Cafe, Niagara Park Stadium, Roller Derby Heaven, the 5x5 live streaming crew who were previously the live screaming crew. However, things are working now. Thank you also to the Valley Tavern and all of the supporters and volunteers who have made this event and this telecast possible. And you, the viewer, at home or at someone else's home, you sly dogs, you are encouraged to send in your questions and your comments to us as commentators who will read it off the magical reading board. At the moment, Big Kahuna, I have no idea where we are meant to be reading from. So if you've sent a message so far, we're not ignoring you. We just don't know where they are.
I assume it's going to be on the YouTube feed. So let's see if we can find that. I got my trusty Samsung Galaxy S5 here. Proud sponsor of the 5x5.
They really should pony up some more cash then, shouldn't they?
Of course, sponsored by YouTube and Google and Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Always Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, of course, gives life. Coca-Cola, also known as the Life Juice. We thank you for your strong and never-ending support of the 5x5 tournament.
So we should be live, loud and clear in your earbuds right now. If you are watching from home, welcome to the 5x5 for 2015. We have had one half so far in game number 1 due to some technical issues. We did
start without them.
We did start without you, and we apologize. I often, get started without my partner, but sometimes.
But that's different. That's not roller derby.
We got to do. We come into this game. 22 minutes left in this game. 155 Southside, 67 Sydney. Timeout was in place. Lethal stepping up to the jammer line for Southside in purple. Feisty Cuffs jamming for Sydney in red. She's had a lot so far in this game.
Freeway Fighter and Underbelly Morelli holding Feisty Cuffs back long enough for Lethal to skip out there and actually go past her. Feisty Cuffs choosing not to try to outrun Lethal. Certainly a great strategy. That jam called off.
So we certainly have a hell of a battle on track right now. But another big battle that is going on that you may not be aware of at home in the audience today. big crowd support for both of these teams, right next to each other on the straightaway line. Southside's Rebel Alliance, a purple army out there next to Sydney's crowd, cheering their hearts out as well. So we've got a battle on the track and a battle in the crowd. Who's going to win that one, I'm not sure. If you're listening at home, you should be cheering as well. Fairy Bled on her way to the box, but
tries to take the shortcut for a forearm block. Not allowed. She has to go all the way around.
So it's some time here for Sneaky Stackhouse, barging away through to lead jammer status. So she's already completed her first pass before Fairy Bled even sits down. Full 30 seconds here for Sneaky to see what she can do, put some points on the board. Negotiating one, finding a couple more at the front. Sneaky Stackhouse, one to beat. Unfortunately, it's Haterade impeding her progress, but finally getting through. 5 points for Sneaky Stackhouse and Sydney Snipers. Seashells, she sells seashells by the seashore.
That's only because she doesn't have a job, Kahuna. Sneaky Stackhouse calling that jam off.
That was a lot of S's in there. Sneaky Stackhouse, Sydney Snipers, Southside.
Yes.
I'm articulate, I'm elegant, or eloquent even.
You are elegant. I certainly won't deny that. Fairy Bled, on the other hand, not feeling so elegant standing in the penalty box. That means she's got less than 10 seconds before she bursts out.
And of course, Feisty Cuffs jamming once again for Sydney. 155-74, 7 points in that last jam for Sneaky Stackhouse. Feisty Cuffs looking to continue that success in this one.
Haterade taking on Feisty Cuffs at the front there, causing enough interference to let her jammer come out front.
Fairy Bled bursting away through off the back of some really strong D from the Southside pack, getting lead, calling it off. The chant goes up from the strong Southside crowd. Let's go Southside, let's go. Freeway Fighter with the star, hearing it in her ears. Chakram opposing her, gonna do what she can for Sydney. So it looks like the stream is loud and live, getting lots of hoorays and yays from the YouTube viewing audience.
Thank you for your persistence with our stream. We hope we will make it worthwhile.
Yeah, big thank you to our YouTube, our live streaming crew here, doing all sorts of stuff me and Mel have absolutely no idea about.
None.
We just
None
talk into
of the
microphones,
ideas.
and magic seems to happen apparently.
Ordinarily, when I don't understand what's going on and I hear people talk about it, I understand the individual words, but not quite what they mean.
They're speaking words. They just don't seem to make sense.
I don't even understand the words.
They made it happen though. Magic on
There
the
are
screen.
letters.
You're a wizard, Jared.
Jared, of course, the nickname for Flat Track Protocol, making the magic of the interwebs.
So Danny Hell is lead jammer once again for Southside. Sneaky Stackhouse being held up again by some strong walls from the
Whack Russell
Force.
Terrier definitely earning her keep.
Yeah, forcing a track cut there on Sneaky Stackhouse. Power jam to Danny Hell and the Force.
30 seconds starting for Sneaky Stackhouse. Haterade joining her in the penalty box.
So we got some shout outs from the people at home. Brooke Mitchell, Adam Roush, Liz Mackey, Skidstar 72, Shez, you know I love you. B-Stars up on the screen.
Sorry,
Gajilla sold separately.
Who does 72 love?
Skidstar 72. No, Shez Dispenser.
Oh, Shez loves us. I love Shez too.
Rachel Sinclair sending some love. Devil Spawn sending some love to the Beige crew. Loving those officials out there and calling a good game so far. There's 5 more points for Danny Hell. Sneaky Stackhouse back on the track, however.
A sea of red vests wandering all across the track. Sneaky Stackhouse trying to make her way through her initial pass. Whack Russell Terrier and Haterade holding her back.
So there's 4 more for Sneaky. 20-4 in that jam to Southside. Big jam from Danny Hill. 179 plays 78, extending the lead for Southside to 101 points. See how good I am with maths, Mel?
You're like a calculator.
It's my half Asian side.
You know you just said that out loud, Big Kahuna.
I'm allowed to. I'm Asian. we can say that ourselves, apparently.
Battle of the Visors on the
rule?
jammer. I'm ignoring you. Battle of the Visors on the jammer line.
And Freeway Fighter getting the best of it early. She's jamming for Southside and is lead.
Bacardi Bruiser trying to use the Triangle of Death to hold Feisty Cuffs back. It works, and Feisty Cuffs is forced back behind Bruiser.
Feisty Cuffs jamming for Sydney, being held up on her initial. There's points for Freeway Fighter, getting the signal to keep it going. 5, in fact, for Freeway Fighter. Colonel Panic getting very loud on the track there. Freeway Fighter getting the call-off signal, putting her hands on hips and calling it off. So 4-3 in that last pass, 9-3 altogether in that jam, 188-81. Southside extending their lead. So Lethal now with the star once again, jamming up against Chakram. 2 of the fanciest socks you'll see today, I'm sure, on both of these skaters. Chakram through. Depleted packs and Chakram getting the best of it, but Lethal going with us stride for stride, jammer on jammer.
There aren't many skaters that are going to be able to outrun Lethal, that is for sure. Chakram realising there's no point in trying that one, calling that jam off. I would have thought Sydney would have called that jam off a little quicker just to save a bit of time there, Big Kahuna.
Time is definitely not their friend or on their side at the moment. 15 minutes gone in the second half, 15 minutes left, and 100 points facing them.
Your mum calling a timeout. Not your mum, Big Kahuna, that would be creepy weird. However, your mum, bench manager from Sydney, calling a timeout, giving us a tremendous opportunity to tell you who we love. We love Sydney Derby Skates, East Coast Beverages, Spa Cafe, Niagara Park Stadium, Roller Derby Heaven, the 5x5 live streaming crew, the Valley Tavern, and of course all of the supporters and volunteers that have made this event possible.
So you mentioned that time is slipping away for Sydney, and if they want to get back into this game, they need to pull it together. However, there is another element at play here, and with the 5x5 championship, because it is a 6-month or 5-event season, points become an issue. So for each game that's played, there's 3 points for a win, 1 point for a loss at the end of the season to qualify for the playoffs or the final. If there are ties on game points, point differential then becomes a factor. So even if Sydney don't want to win this game in the next 15 minutes, they should at least be trying to limit the points against them, and they may still be able to come away with a smaller differential, which could become a factor come August.
August is, of course, seemingly a long way away. However, the 5x5 is exciting and will screen past you if you let it. Danny Hill on the jammer line for Southside, up against Feisty Cuffs for Sydney. Sydney playing in the red.
So at home, Pepper LaPow said Sydney needs to get the defense together. But right now, offense is definitely the key. Feisty Cuffs, lead jammer for the Snipers. Danny Hill skating around the track, closing the gap. Southside walls up at the back. Feisty looking for a gap and not finding any. But finds 3 points worth. Axiomatic doing the count for Southside and putting up the Black Panther fist of power. 0 points on offer for Southside.
Indeed, and Colonel Panic, bench manager for Southside, says, no, I want peace and love. He shows 2 fingers, peace and love. Black Panthers win, though. Let that be a lesson to everyone at home.
So 188 plays 84, 3 points to Sydney 3 points to 0 to Sydney in that one. But Freeway Fighter hot off the track. Hot off the line, so she's got lead jammer for Southside. Sneaky Stackhouse showing some fancy footwork and out of the pack now. Freeway Fighter getting the loud call-off signal from Colonel Panic. Now, this is Colonel Panic's first game with Southside. So, again, we've seen on the Sydney side having a new team gelling together, new people selected, only a little bit of time on their hands. And as I said, Southside have had their core together for much longer, a lot more time to gel. They know each other a lot more. They played Bont together, with the exception of Whack Russell Terrier, recent transfer. But even with that in mind, Colonel Panic's still new. He's putting in his systems. He's getting his walls together the way he wants to see it and employing his strategies. So it is interesting to see how all of this plays out over, not only in this game, but over the course of the whole tournament, how coaches will have their impact on the way people play.
Your mum looking quite curiously at the Southside bench and then jogging over to his official review.
I think he was maybe looking for a number on a player to bring up to the referee.
That
perhaps
does make more sense.
So we did have a shout out from GWhizz sold separately saying, can we get a snacks update for this game, please?
Well, I've just had a wholemeal wrap with some butter, cheese, and Promite. That was quite yummy. Thank you, GWhizz. I appreciate that you would ask.
Now, if you are a fan of snacks, as I am, you will boo what Melodrama just said. Not a true snack fan here, obviously, but...
It was Jarlsberg cheese.
Coming up today, Melodrama, one of the shows that we have in between games. We're obviously bringing a lot more content, some things that are a little bit different. We're going to see Eat Like a Lion from Lioness. One of the other shows that we're going to have is Viva La Derby Snack Life. Myself, Denominator, reviewing snacks that you would eat at a derby game, perhaps. Sideline. We've got to make a very tenuous, grasping at straws link to keep it derbified, but we're going to be eating snacks, we're going to be reviewing them, we're going to be talking about them, we're going to be rating them, we're going to be having a lot of fun doing it. So,
well, maybe what I'll do is keep one of my wraps aside for you, because it is, like I said, Jarlsberg cheese with Promite and butter. Real butter, not margarine, but kahuna, but butter.
The fact that you're saying Promite instead of Vegemite, which everyone knows is the superior mite of the mite spread family.
I actually think that Termite is the best. It's got that nutty back flavour. However, I rate Promite above Vegemite, but perhaps that's un-Australian.
That it definitely is un-Australian. Everyone knows that Vegemite rules the roost when it comes to dark, sickly, salty spreads for your sandwiches. Lots of S's again. Alliteration rules. So stay tuned for Snack Life coming at you later on today.
What's on Eat Like a Lion? What is that?
Eat Like a Lion. Lioness has their own cooking show with some, I'm sure, derby-themed recipes that you can try at home, but we'll be showing that a little bit later. Eat Like a Lion. Lioness,
of course, a very good source for the Thanksgiving luncheon and Thanksgiving dinner, which becomes about 5 days' worth of food. So those of you who have the opportunity of making friends with Lioness, I recommend you do that before October. And referees are reporting to Big Kahuna what just happened in the official review. We will have a clue in just a moment.
So Sydney looking for a forearms penalty to be called there. Not held up. So that was Sydney's official review for the second half. You only are allowed one per half. Unless it's successful, then you keep your official review. Sydney not getting that one.
Bianca Starr giving me the thumbs up for my delicious snack option. Promite is her favourite as well. Feisty Cuffs also skating off the back of Promite. She is lead jammer and about to hit the back of the pack. She streaks on through just like butter on the knife.
Definitely no Promite on that knife, please, though. And we did have confirmation, Melodrama. Pepper LaPow said, BK's right, Vegemite is the only choice.
I doubt Pepe's qualifications.
Danger said that TV Snacks would surely be the best choice right now. TV Snacks are pretty good.
Potato in a biscuit's good.
Potato in a biscuit is good.
Anything with MSG on it is pretty good.
GWhizz sold separately will go down dying for Tina Wafers. She holds strong to Tina Wafers. Apparently she's got him packed and she's going to bring him for Snack Life later on.
I have never had a Tina wafer.
Neither have I.
I am unaware
That's
of
why
this
I'm looking
phenomenon.
forward to it.
However, there is some derby going on in amongst the snacking. Chakram forced back by Bacardi Bruiser. She's yet to complete her initial pass. In the meantime, Southside taking the lead. It's almost like they're the strong side.
So Freeway Fighter approaching for a scoring pass. Chakram now out. She's looking for points. And Freeway Fighter picking up a couple, getting the signal to keep it going. And now getting the call off from Coach Colonel Panic and putting her hands on her hips and denying Sydney any points in that pass. So right at the last second, Freeway Fighter hearing the call and making it. Everything working together for Southside so far. 192 plays 86. 106 points in it. 11 minutes left in this half. Southside in control. Sydney looking to minimize the damage. Via Feisty Cuffs once again. She works hard for her money, young Feisty. She's out there once again, and lead jammer for Sydney. Danny Hell still held up in this pack. Feisty Cuffs 3/4 of a lap through an initial, through a scoring. Approaching the pack, picking up 4 and calling it off.
Some confusion with Imperial Blonde returning to the track there, but that is all sorted now.
So Feisty Cuffs getting lots of success here so far. Unfortunately, she can't be out there every jam. She's going to need a little help.
I reckon she could, you know, Big Kahuna.
Get by with a little help from her friends. You reckon she could?
She could.
She probably could. She's been relatively penalty-free so far too.
She's unexpectedly strong. I do believe that maybe 3 years ago there was a sit-up competition where they timed who could hold the sit-up position for the longest, and Feisty Cuff was in fact the winner.
That was only because I wasn't there.
I agree.
Otherwise,
Vegemite.
that definitely would have been it.
Purple 8-1 left the box early. She's being issued a penalty box violation. She will be starting from the box.
Well, there you go. I was right on the call with Impure Blonde. She left the penalty box early. She tried to recover from that, but could not. She's back in the penalty box for that streak of naughtiness.
Of course, with 10 minutes left in this game, we already have the next game participants warming up. Hawkesbury Area Roller Derby, Hards Kamikazes will be taking on Northern Beaches Roller Girls Sirens. Coming up next on this feed, on this track. So Sneaky Stackhouse now with the star for Sydney, pushing hard against a determined wall from Southside, and Fairy Bled hit to the outside, dragging her back. Been doing that a lot today. Freeway Fighter taking advantage of some jammer on jammer action.
However, that didn't quite work out for Southside.
So
Sneaky Stackhouse in a power jam situation. Colonel Panic not agreeing with the call, but that doesn't matter.
No, Freeway Fighter also confused about where the call came from. Thought it was clean. Referees saw it differently.
Sneaky Stackhouse through for her initial pass.
So again, Southside having a lot of success in killing these power jams. Chance here to score some points, but a lot of time wiped off that penalty already. So Sneaky on her first scoring pass of the power jam here, and Freeway Fighter is back on track already. Southside defense doing all the work for them and making the team look good.
And at this point of the game, Big Kahuna, 9 minutes left. Sydney will be trying to close that points differential for future benefits.
So 5 points in that one to Sydney. They'll need to string a few of those together here. Chakram looking to be that vessel right now for Sydney. Chant goes up from the Southside crowd. Danny Hell looking to be buoyed by the... So both jammers pushing hard. Danny Hell at the front. Tequila shot on the way to the box. Danny Hill wants a beat at the front in Stockard slamming, gets through lead jammer for Southside. Chakram is out, however, and giving chase. Colonel Panic barking his instructions to Danny Hill.
Colonel Panic looking like he's trying to use up as much time on the clock as he can. Chakram blocking as she goes on through. However, that jam called off before any damage can be done. 3 more points for Southside. They seem to have everything going for them today. I wonder which they might prefer.
I can say with certainty that they're probably a Vegemite team because, you know, they're logical and all that.
How do you rate Marmite?
It's not a thing. It shouldn't even be, like, it shouldn't exist. You don't need more than Vegemite. If you have Vegemite, it's like when you go to Red Rooster and they have on the same menu cheesy nuggets and normal nuggets. And I'm like, you got cheesy nuggets. Why are there even nuggets at all?
I think the cheesy nuggets with the sesame seeds are the nuggets.
Exactly.
The ones they call nuggets are just like
just
a
take
letdown.
it off. You got cheesy
Just
nuggets.
put
You got
them
sesame
away.
seeds. Get rid of the normal nuggets.
There's no need.
Maybe it's for like lactose intolerant people.
If you're lactose intolerant,
And we don't like intolerance.
get out of town.
We don't like
Get
intolerance.
out. If you don't like it, leave.
We're intolerant of intolerant people. Here at 555, we welcome all, except if you're intolerant of lactose. What has milk ever done to you besides make you feel ill and sick? Feisty Cuffs, however, not showing any intolerance right now except for the opposition's pack because she is lead jammer for Sydney.
She streaks through the big gap on the inside there, scores the points and calls it off. That is the kind of action that Sydney needs to take now. Closing that differential. See, it was easy maths a minute ago, and now it's harder maths. It's 96 points the difference.
Further confirmation from the YouTube viewing audience, Mel. Definitely Vegemite from Parabella.
Parabella, you are a disgrace.
It's not a disgrace at all. Said definitely Vegemite. Here's Danny Hill with the star for Sydney. Sneaky Stackhouse giving a good old shove to Bitchy and Scratchy.
Sneaky Stackhouse round the outside, trying
Goldie
through the
Horn,
middle.
sorry, not Bitchy, I apologise. Wants a beat in Lethal, and Lethal laying out Sneaky Stackhouse.
Illegally laying her out, so Lethal is on the way to the penalty box. Sneaky Stackhouse rounding the corner. She's only got 2 blockers to get past.
Oh, Sneaky. I think maybe getting away with a bit of a sneaky forearm there. But she's got 5 points nonetheless. Sneaky Stackhouse, another 5-point pass, showing her fancy footwork, of course. You can tell by her skates that she is a very artistic skater.
Yes, indeed, Sneaky Stackhouse has skated before today. She calls that jam off after scoring some 4 points. That jam, a winner for Sydney, 14 points to nothing.
That, of course, brings them over the 100-point mark. 113 plays 195, closing the gap on Southside. But with 5.5 minutes left, I think right at this stage, all they can really do is not like sort of minimize the damage that Southside is doing.
Absolutely. 82 points the difference. I did that maths all on my own in my head, Big Kahuna.
Shez Dispenser says that, sorry, she enjoys Promite on occasion. Shez Dispenser, of course, the ex-president of Southside Derby Dolls now, that she likes Promite. That's no, Shez.
There's always
no.
room in the inner west for Promite lovers.
Michael Milton says, no Vegemite, no Marmite, both are gross. He must be a
Yeah.
Nutella dude. Peanut butter, perhaps. That's all right. I got love for you, Michael.
Michael likes the nuts.
A little bit un-Australian, though. Next thing you're going to say is you don't like Wheat Bix either.
Are they even Australian anymore? Freeway Fighter, however, she has hit the wall of Sydney but scores 5 more points. Chakram standing in the penalty box. She is ready to join her pack.
So Freeway on another scoring pass. There's 5 more points for Southside.
Bench manager Colonel Panic urging Freewee to keep going because Chakram has not completed her initial pass.
And Southside doing a good job to ensure she stays on it. But Chakram hop, skip, and jump through. Now on a scoring, sorry.
It is a scoring pass. Freewee Fighter will put some trust in her blockers, try to score some points, and probably call that jam off. She's through, and she calls that jam off. A big jam in reply from Southside. 19 points. Plays 24 points for Southside, 2 points for Sydney.
Huge jam there. Freewee Fighter putting points on the board in bunches.
104 for the differential now. I think Southside have the cheering under control. If only they would have more of an idea on breakfast spreads.
Danny Hell, clearly a Vegemite person based on the fact that she scored so many points today. Feisty Cuffs, she's looking for lead jammer status with a couple to beat at the front. But Danny Hell through for lead jammer once again.
Track cut called on Feisty Cuff. She is on her way to the penalty box. Southside with all the advantage in this jam. Only 2.5 minutes left for the game.
Danny Hell, there's 4 points.
She did look a little frustrated as she finally made her way through those Sydney blockers.
Southside camping at the back, Sydney at the front. Full 4 wall.
Feisty Cuff joins them on the track. Sneaks on through for her initial pass.
Danny Hell getting the call-off signal from her bench, looking for the last couple of points before putting her hands on her hips and picking up 5. Now, Shez Dispenser, in an attempt to redeem herself, said although she does like the occasional Promite, which, you know, we might be able to overlook because
Who doesn't, Shez? Who doesn't?
She also enjoys Vegemite with Kraft singles on a sandwich.
I do too. I'm not saying Vegemite is completely off the menu. I'm just saying if there's a choice, Promite's going to win every time. And frankly, Marmite heads off
Vegemite. You were starting to
Vegemite.
sound good. Whoa, what? There's domestic unhappiness here on the stream. Melodrama, Big Kahuna are going to throw down shortly over their choice of sandwich spread. Can't believe you said that. I'm so upset right now. But Lethal is jamming her ass off right now. 5 points for Southside.
5 points is a definite winner for the Marmite camp.
We're being silly. We're being silly. Let's keep it profesh. Because Vegemite is professional. Everyone knows that.
4 more points for Lethal.
Lethal.
No response from Sydney. However, a star pass will put Goldie Horns in the jammer position. Lethal through for another 4 points.
Colonel Panic giving the signal to keep on going. So that was a scoring pass, okay? So 4 points for Goldie Horns.
Colonel Panic pointing at the scoreboard, yelling something about, look at the time, look at the time. There's only 11 seconds left in this game. It looks like Lethal will skate it all out.
So Colonel Panic wanting this to be the last jam of the game. And with the way Lethal is racking up points right now, why would you want to call it off? Lethal, a few more on the board here.
And Colonel Panic has enough, calling it off. Lethal finishing on a high. 5 big points for that pass. What a fantastic debut for Colonel Panic, bringing Southside to a well-deserved win. That jam for Lethal, 23 points, playing Sydney's 4 points.
So we have had confirmation from everyone knows the authority in roller derby. GWhizz sold separately, said Vegemite in caps with a exclamation point and said Marmite is just #un-Australian.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. However, I would like to suggest that viewers out there rush to their nearest Red Rooster, get some of those nuggets that we spoke about with the cheese and the sesame seed.
This is what
and
brings people
smear
together.
a little bit of the breakfast spread over the top.
This is what brings people together, Mel. You may be a pro-mite person. I'm a Vegemite person, but we meet on cheesy nuggets.
Indeed, that's how we feed the world.
Okay, so wrapping up this game here, first game of 2015, a hell of a game. Southside Derby Dolls taking out the win. Unofficial final score while we still do our calculations from the referees. 252 to 119. Southside on the board for 2015 campaign for the three-peat. That's 3 championships in a row and getting it off to a good start.
And certainly if you picked them in the tipping competition, you'd be feeling pretty smug now, and you're looking good for the bag of cats.
And Southside getting the adulation from their adoring fans. The force is strong with these ones. Now, as I said, Sydney were only selected 2 weeks ago. Coming into the tournament at the last minute was surely sure to work against them. So I would imagine, given another month to round 2, given another few months to round 3, 4, and the grand final will be in August, watch for Snipers to really come together and redeem themselves from this first win. We know what they're capable of. We know how talented this squad is. All it's going to take is a little bit of time, and we'll see some strong, strong results from the Snipers, no doubt. Snipers getting their love from the crowd too, and why not? It was a hell of a game here at Central Coast, Niagara Park. 5x5, round 1, Armageddon game number 1 done for the day. Southside victorious over the Snipers, 252 to 119. And we're wrapping up for, stay tuned for the next game, Hawkesbury taking on Northern Beaches. Until then, I'm the Big Kahuna.
And so am I.
So we're here post-game with the captain of the Snipers, Feisty Cuffs. How are you feeling about today's game?
Look, really happy actually. That was one of the toughest games to come into. I think we had a lot to prove, but when you're going up against an established, hard-hitting team like S2, you've got to bring it. You've got to expect it's going to be a tough game.
It was a really good game to watch though. Now, considering that Snipers did come in at the last minute, kind of save the 5x5 tournament, if you will. Now, I know you have been really excited to be a part of it, but how did that affect your preparation, considering you had such short notice coming in?
Well, our team only got announced a couple of Fridays ago, and then we only got one chance to scrimmage together as a team. So I think, everyone was really there and really committed. We knew we were going to have a tough game, trying to bring everyone together, but our main focus was just getting the basics right, keeping it tight, and just playing as a unit. So.
Now, one of the things that we've seen over the last couple of years, I mentioned it on the feed, is that Feisty Cuffs before was exclusively a blocker. Now jamming your ass off out there and doing it in high rotation, getting a lot of reps. How are you feeling after a game where you really got so much track time and really got beat up a bit out there?
Oh, look, S2 made me work for it. There's no, you saw that, right? Like, they made me work hard. But it's really tough, but you know what? It's your mental game. I think if you let the opposition get in your head too much, that's kind of when you let yourself down a little bit. So really just shaking that last jam off, and it's a fresh game, sit down, reset the next with my pack that's about to go out. So
whatever it is, it seems to be working because you had a lot of success out there. I know that obviously I said there's been a short turnaround for Sydney, but given time, we know what Sydney can do. We know what talent you have out there, and I'm sure you'll be looking to come back in round 2 with a new vigour.
Oh, 100%. Like, we're so happy to be here, and everything we're doing is with 5x5 in mind and playing a really good team. Like, there's some tough local teams, and I'm stoked I get to play all of them.
Well, we're happy you can be a part of it, and it was a hell of a game, Feisty. Thank you.
Really, really good. So thanks for having us.
We love it. Thank you.
Happy birthday, by the way.
That was Feisty Cuffs from Sydney Roller Derby League. Thank you, Feisty. We're going to be joined by Minnie Massacre of Southside Derby Dolls. Come in, Minnie. Minnie Massacre, captain of the force today. How are you feeling, Minnie, after a big win?
Yeah, good. Really, really good about it. It was a tough game, and we just pulled through. It was awesome. So much fun.
Now, one of the things that happened, obviously, in the preparation, Southside, the force, was really gearing up for a game against Western Sydney. Last minute changes, Snipers come in, obviously an established team. How did that affect what you did leading up to the game?
We we just kind of kept our cool, still, you know, had our same game plan, and we just pulled it off today, and it was awesome. It was good that Sydney could jump in and play with us, so yeah, really excited to have them.
Now, one of the things I noticed out there is that the team looked calm, controlled, together. That's kind of your thing. A lot of smiles out there. As captain for the first time, how was the vibe out there?
It was awesome. We felt really, really calm. Like one of the calmest games I think that I've ever played. So I think that really, really helped us today.
Now, have you got any message for the Southside fans at home that couldn't make it up to the coast?
Yeah, we did it. Thank you. We couldn't have done it without you, and we'll see you when we get home. Thank you.
Mini Massacre, Southside Derby Dolls. We'll be coming back next game with Hards Kamikazes taking on the Northern Beaches Roller Girls Sirens. Stay tuned to the 5x5 feed. Lots of action coming up.
Hi, I'm Susie from S2D2 Skates. We stock a wide range of products from all the best brands. Did you know that the S2D2 Skates website is up to date with stock levels and will only let you buy something if it's actually in stock? We pride ourselves on having awesome customer service and very quick delivery. Usually items are sent the very same day you place your order.